Hello angels, I hope you've been well. I hope you've been coping okay. Sorry for my inconsistencies as always. Today I'm going to be doing a video on BPD, emotional intensity disorder, whatever you want to call it, and friendships. This is just from my perspective. Everyone with BPD are so different. It's like a massive spectrum. People with BPD aren't inherently bad people. People with BPD can be amazing friends. Sometimes BPD is what makes us a great friend, because with BPD comes loyalty, a lot of love, but for some people it can make us pushovers, people pleasing. In the past I've definitely been like this. I still have a tendency to people please. Another person with BPD might push their loved ones away before they perceive abandonment. Not all of us are the same, so you only need 5 out of the 9 criteria to get a BPD diagnosis. So not all of us will struggle with anger, not all of us will struggle with relationship issues, for example. People with BPD are very sensitive. It's basically a disorder where you're so sensitive to the point you kind of shut down because everything hurts, so you have to kind of numb yourself out. We tend to be very good listeners. We tend to put ourselves in others' shoes easily. This can be a blessing and a curse because we can almost take things too personally. Like when we're so well attuned to people's emotions, there's this type of distorted thinking that we struggle with called magical thinking or mind reading. Because we're so well attuned to other people's emotions, sometimes we'll take it too personally. We will mind read and think, they hate me, I'm annoying them, I did something wrong. Jumping to conclusions, jumping to, oh, they hate me, is distorted thinking. And if you're friends with someone with BPD and they ask you what's wrong, don't say nothing. Tell them what's wrong. You know, just say, I've had a shit day. It's not you. Just tell them why you're in a bad mood. Oh, I just am. So that's what I've struggled with in the past, like being overly sensitive to the point where I'll just take people's bad moods personally. Everyone's moods can kind of rub off on us. If someone else is crying, then we'll probably start. When I struggled most with my friendships, I was a teenager. It gets better, it gets easier. Some people with BPD split. You can split on like objects as well and like passions and stuff. But a lot of people cut out their friends because they perceive abandonment. They think, oh, they're gonna leave me, so I'll leave them first. It's kind of like a self-protection thing. And it's kind of like black and white thinking, tumultuous thinking. It means you either see people or things as all good or all bad without the grey or the nuance. You might split on your friend in the form of like negative thoughts. Another problem people with BPD might face is jumping into friendships and relationships too fast. Emotional intensity disorder does come with intense emotions. With that kind of comes quick connections. You might need to start self-regulating more, and later on there's lots of red flags. So a lot of us can jump into like abusive relationships. If you're like this, you might want to become more comfortable alone, not depending on anyone else completely for emotional support. Obviously external emotional support and validation is important, but if you can't validate yourself, it's not healthy to only get your validation from someone you've just met, you know? Be more self-sufficient and more like self-validating. Emotional intensity disorder comes with the extreme ability to worry and worry and worry. It can just be extremely difficult existing with BPD, just because if you have any exchange with a stranger, a friend, meeting new people, and we just say something embarrassing, BPD comes with anxiety, social anxiety, all of that. After we've said something, we're like, that was so dumb, and we won't just think about it for a moment. We'll think about it hours, days, weeks, months, years after we've said something dumb. We'll just repeat it and torture ourselves with it. I remember cringy shit I've done when I was like 10. It just haunts me. Paranoia is also a trait of BPD. Not everyone has it. In times of stress, we might become paranoid. If you find yourself second guessing any interaction, you just need to stop torturing yourself. It doesn't matter if you said something like embarrassing or over the top or weird or annoying or even like inappropriate, because no one really cares. No one really cares except us. If that's what's stopping you from making friends, then just try and ignore those annoying thoughts. Like I find leaving the house draining. Always overthinking about like eye contact, making sure I'm not making a weird face, and also this can trigger like sensory overload. This is Ham City. I think a cool thing about BPD is that it opens up this whole new realm of empathy, and I have a few friends with BPD and they're some of the most empathetic, patient people I've ever met. So many people with BPD are very insightful and just interesting, despite the stigma saying otherwise. There's been many studies that show we have excessive amounts of empathy. I think it's a problem. Many of us with BPD have a very strong sense of justice. I think a big problem for me and loads of people with BPD is just crying every day, like crying to the point where it's just like you can't do anything. I also wanted to talk about self-destructive behaviours in BPD and friendships. We will isolate ourselves because of an addiction problem. It could be self-harm, it could be drug addiction, it could be eating disorders, reckless behaviour. So if you have a friend with BPD or any disorder and they're struggling with self-destructive coping mechanisms, please don't stop inviting them out. Even if they never talk to you anymore because they're so depressed or they're struggling to go out anymore. The invite does mean a lot to us. It sounds oversimplistic, but just be a friend. Everyone is deserving of recovery. Everyone is deserving of amazing friendships. If you struggle with meeting friends in real life, don't underestimate the power of an internet friend. And of course, like, some people find being social effortless and they can't be alone because they don't want to like sit with their emotions. I have the problem where I spend way too much time alone. I'm always inside. Others are the total opposite, and that's kind of the point I really want to drive home. Everyone with BPD is so different. Make sure you're not cutting yourself off from the world. We numb out our emotions. So some people with BPD might seem cold, but really they're just filled with sentimientos, emotions, feelings. They just have to numb themselves off to cope with life. If you numb yourself out, you're not only numbing yourself out from painful emotions, but you're also numbing out amazing and positive, beautiful people and experiences, life and love. Don't just like cut yourself out from the world. Just keep yourself open to love and also pain, because you need that in your life to experience the happiness. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this video is a mess as always. Maybe you could leave some suggestions just because I never know what to do. Have a good evening and I'll see you in my next video. Bye friends.